One. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Are the Opera of Power with Gail and Jane. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Gail.
This video is actually going to be part of our foundations and troubleshooting series, even though it's the two of us. It's a special day. And we just wanted to quickly touch on the idea of self-validation. So we have been talking about, Jane and I earlier before we started videoing, how we can get calls from people that are really having a challenging time and want other people to be happy for them, make them feel like what they're doing is right, and that sort of thing. And I guess what we wanted to point out is that that is really looking for validation outside. I know for me, years ago, when I started in this path, what actually started me, and I think I talked about this before, was that I went someplace and told somebody else that I went somewhere different. So a lie, basically. And I got found out or caught in that lie. And then I got really upset, but I noticed I wasn't upset because I got caught, but I was upset that why did I not just tell the truth? Like, if I was doing something that I was okay doing, then why can't I tell people that that's what I'm doing? So obviously I wasn't, on some level, I wasn't okay what I was doing, and I felt guilty and felt like I shouldn't be doing it or whatever, so I lied. So it's the same kind of idea, but kind of in reverse. But if I felt comfortable with that, I didn't need somebody else to validate that. And I could be honest about that, because what they thought really didn't matter. What I wanted from them was what they wanted to do. It wasn't up for them to judge whether or not that thing that I was doing was okay with them. It was really not their business.
Right.
So,
and I was telling you that, like, I dealt with that a few times with different people, and I noticed that perhaps underlying the need for external validation is a judgment, because you're looking for, or at least I used to be looking for, oh yeah, that's a great thing to do. Oh yeah, go ahead, and then it's like, oh good, it's the right thing to do. But the only person that can really tell you that is yourself.
right.
And if you're struggling with that and you're going outside of yourself, you're going to set yourself up for failure, because really it's your conviction about what you're doing that's going to hold you in the good place and in your end. And obviously, I think it also forces your hand a little bit to pay attention to what you want. Like, because we talk about that a lot. Like, say if I want something, well, if I really want it, what does that have to do with anybody else? It really only, and if I start going outside of myself, then I'm probably splitting love in two, because it splits it into a judgment, because you're almost asking for someone to judge you, and judging people.
Good job. Yes, that's right.
Right.
I would never do that. Oh, I would never do that.
Well, and it also takes
What do
away
you
from,
feel
right,
about what you want to do? Like in my case, I mean, that I felt okay with what I was doing, but I didn't feel
right,
sharing it. So I didn't feel 100% okay with what I was doing, obviously, because
right.
I never have had an issue saying I'm doing this or I'm going.
Okay, just to clarify, if you don't want to share what it is that you're doing, does that make it different?
No, but in my case, it was, I didn't want them to know because I knew what they would think. But I was okay doing it. So what does it matter what they think? If I'm okay, if I'm really okay doing it, and really it was something I enjoyed doing, wanted to do, what does it matter what they think? So that's the difference. Because I mean, you don't want to, with manifesting, you don't want, what's going to happen is people that you tell are going to reflect back to your fears.
Yes.
guilt and judgment and that sort
Yes.
of thing.
And then you're also
So in those
surprised you're
cases,
shocked.
you want to be convicted in it, and it doesn't matter if they know or not, because you're so convicted that they're not going to have any fears to reflect back to you. Or if you think they are, you revise and just carry on. You don't have to tell everybody everything.
Well, and especially if you're planning to do something, I find too, if you start preemptively, like I used to do that, I'd have a plan in my mind and then I'd go around, what do you think of this plan? And then I'd always get back things that almost deterred me from doing it. Most of the time, it was very seldom. It was like, oh yeah, go ahead and do that, because it would be reflecting, like you said, it would reflect back the fears that I would have. And then I wouldn't take it that way. I'd be like, oh, you just don't support me. And why don't you support me? And meanwhile, it was because I wasn't supporting my own self by looking objectively for something that I needed to solidly. And I think that's where you work on conviction. I know for myself, I'm working on that. Like when I'm tempted to go and say, well, what do you think about that? It's like, oh, well, what do you think about it? Like, what are you doing? What are you looking for? Is there something in here, like you said? And that's what changed you, was looking internally and saying, oh, okay, well, maybe I should. Well, and this thing you said about you didn't want to tell them because you were worried they were going to think something.
That they were going to judge me.
Well, and you're also creating that story.
Yeah, I didn't know at that time, but absolutely.
Yeah, beforehand. And then
and that's right. I didn't want to tell them because I had a fear of what they would think, which would be their judgment, right? And so that just tells me now, I didn't know this at the time, that it was my own judgment. Like as much as I felt comfortable doing it, I obviously wasn't fully comfortable because I felt the need to not be upfront and honest.
Yeah.
That was kind of a cool thing because at that time, like that wasn't my normal reaction. Would have been, well, I don't lie, first of all, normally, but the expected reaction would have been, oh my God, I feel so bad. I got caught, and what a horrible person I am, and or get angry, like, stop watching me. Why are you following me? Why are you?
Yeah, I can remember doing the same thing. I was out somewhere and I didn't want to tell the person where I was, and then I lied, and I was like, ew, it felt worse than just letting them have, letting them have their reaction is also you being able to face your own fears. So you're actually displacing your fear onto other people when you do that, instead of going, okay, I'm going to face my fear. They might be disappointed. They might say something I don't want, or they might have, whatever. But that part I'm good with, because I know that's just being reflected back to me to deal with. And I had that happen yesterday where a bunch of stuff, oranges came up for me, and I so wanted to jump. Like, I was just like, I wanted to jump all over it. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. I already forgave this. This is, no, I forgive. And it was good. Like I didn't have to explain anything.
Right. Okay. I think we're going to have to cut this off because it's supposed to be short.
Yeah.
So thanks, everybody. Remember, self-validation is more important than validation from the outside, because you can't change them. You can only change yourself. They respond differently.
Yes.
And we'll be back soon. Thanks.